Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Sir Colin Campbell here and Gary A. McGowan, and you're tuned into the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast. Before we get into today's program and all the exciting things that we're going to be talking about, here's a word from one of our sponsors.
This is Dion Begg from Bud Mortgage. For the past 15 years, I've helped families answer the big three financial questions. How do I pay off my home faster, pay for kids' education, and build wealth for retirement? We answer these questions through helping plan and fund significant investment property portfolios. If you're a first-time buyer or buying your first or 10th investment property, please reach out for a free consultation so we can ensure you build the best portfolio possible. Search for mortgagesbydion.com or call me at 800-518-1221.
There we have it, my friends. There we have it.
Yes.
Pretty excited. I think we're live here. Here we go. The computer's just catching up to our brains, apparently. Colin, this is a different show than what we've normally done.
Yes, absolutely. Usually we will have a guest sit in the hot seat today, but today we've decided that part of our program, we're going to be touching on the Toronto real estate market.
Sorry.
Dion is calling in now.
Yeah, Dion's calling. Apparently he doesn't know showtime.
Yeah, we've just decided that we're going to be touching on the Toronto Real Estate Board, how inventory is doing, what are sales like, is the market up, is it down, is it sideways, what is happening. So we're going to just be delving deep into this so that we can really understand what is happening in the market today.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening, and some of the other cool things we're going to be doing is talking about some of our favorite guests that we've had on the show, and some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that you learned.
Absolutely.
By the way, that's a beautiful white T-shirt you have on.
So do you.
Black. So we finally got the colors right on the shirt, so there we go. Thanks to everyone that chipped in and chimed in to help us out with the T-shirt.
Yes.
Getting swag is a big deal around here.
Yes, we like that.
Yeah. Look at this. We've got Kayla. You guys are the best. I know. She liked it so much that she wrote it 3 times. I could just keep 3 different posts on here.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
That's
I like that.
Yeah. I was telling Kayla earlier that this has to be one of the hottest days of the year.
Yeah, it's funny because what is it? It's like 24 degrees today, right? And it's...
Which is like, what, 88?
Yeah.
I don't know. For those south of the border.
Wow.
Like
You're right.
I don't know. I'm making that up. It's hot.
It's a good one today.
It's a good one. Yeah, so we've had a lot of guests on in the past, and as I said, we're going to dive into some of the things that we've learned
Yes,
by having them on, and we've had some of the top producers from a realtor side of things in Ontario and Canada, and then also we've had some amazing real estate investors talking to us about why they do what they do, how they do what they do, and more importantly, like who that affects.
Absolutely.
Right. And it's pretty cool. A couple of things that have come in over the last while we've been doing the podcast is a lot of questions.
Yes.
Lots and lots of questions. And whether that's just people in passing or all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Now Kayla's talking about she doesn't speak in Celsius. Yeah.
Google is your friend, Kayla.
That's right. I could say something I don't speak in American, but I won't say that. So I forget it. I didn't say that. Beautiful. But I'm going to throw up a few questions here, and we're just going to talk about them. I know some of them we might have different opinions on them, but really there's no right or wrong answer. It's just whatever works best for you.
Absolutely.
Right. And so the first one here is something quite easy, and we're just going to. It's not easy, but it's the start of it. So the first question that we have here is, are sales up or down in your market? So we work similar markets, but kind of different locations. They overlap a little bit.
Yes.
So for the most part, geographically, we are both north of Toronto. I geographically kind of work the Stouffville, Markham area. You're more Aurora, Newmarket area,
Correct.
even though they overlap a little bit. But are sales up or down in your area? And if, sorry, before you answer that question, don't answer. If you're online watching us at the moment, I want to know that answer wherever you guys happen to be. I want to know if the sales are up or down. And in a moment here, I've got some stats on the Toronto Real Estate Board that I'm going to bring out. But I want to know from you, Colin, what are you seeing right now?
Right now, sales are down in, I would say, more the York region area, Aurora, Newmarket, Bradford area. That's what we're seeing. Just based on the research that I've done, we're seeing sales are down currently.
Yeah.
What are does it say the same in the areas that you're covering?
Yeah, for sure. That's the easy answer. There's more to it than that. We work in different pockets.
Yes.
Stouffville being our home base, though, its sales are definitely down there.
Yes.
And in Markham, they're down. Now, they're also down by specific price points.
Correct.
We did a report for one of our clients the other day, and we were looking at homes priced kind of over that $1.5 million mark, and they are significantly down.
And it's funny because you say it's significantly down for 1.5 and over. When you're even seeing a struggle for anything over $1 million, to be quite honest. Anything over $1 million, it's taking much longer. If you have those townhomes priced anywhere within the 600, 700 range, that is going fast, right? Because it's there isn't a lot to compete with that, and that is a price bracket that is so comfortable with a lot of people who are looking to get into the market right now.
Yeah, and I think every market has that
sweet spot.
The sweet spot. And our sweet spot in Stouffville, for instance, is 1.2. Anything above that
really
is taking a while. Everything below that, okay, you're giving yourself an opportunity. In Markham, it's probably at about 1.25, 1.3.
Yeah.
So obviously it depends on where you are. That's why it's so important to know your local market. And incredibly important. So you asked me before we went on air, what stats could we bring up? And I love stats. No, it's true. I do like putting together stats. And you said, well, can you dive into the Toronto Real Estate Board? So here's the Toronto Real Estate Board. Yeah, it's there. You just can't see it. I hit the wrong button. That's okay. So we're going to do something like this. And these are the historical stats year over year. So the first thing that I want everyone to kind of take a peek on right here is the number of sales. So I think I can make this bigger. Oh yeah, here we go. So these are the number of sales, and this is dating back to 2016. We had a significant number of sales.
27.
So this is just York. You know what? Let's look at all of Toronto here, because that's kind of the big picture. Then we dive down into some of the other locales here. So look at this. So everyone see this chart right here. I know it's tough to see.
All the markets?
That's all of Toronto Real Estate Board, the largest real estate board in the world.
Yes.
And a few years ago, we had 113,000 reported sales, which was record breaking. That was 2016, and then 2019. You can see how drastically it's dropped, like drastically. Wow. So people are saying, "How come my home isn't selling?" Well, you're one of many.
Yes.
That hasn't sold. And the other piece of that, though, is, okay, what's our average pricing? So if the height of it was the end of 2016, you can see that we trailed off a little bit, and then it's just creeping back up on an average.
Yes.
Right?
But do bear in mind, this is all of the Toronto Real Estate Board stats.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you and I both trade in York Region.
So let's pull up York.
So York Region, if you're in the States, that would be like a big county. York Region has about how many people are living in York Region? Is it 1.5 million?
I think isn't it more than that?
It could be. It's in the millions for sure.
Yeah.
It's a big number. But here's the chart I want everyone to look at, and if you're listening on the podcast, tough to look at. So sorry for you.
Don't worry, we'll be very descriptive. We're going to be very descriptive of it so that you can create that mental picture.
Yeah. So that's a long applause. Yeah, thank you. I'm not that good. In 2016 for York Region, we had about 23,000 sales, and now we're kind of getting it down to about 10,000 at best.
Wow.
At best. So by the end of the year, we should get just over 10,000 sales. And that is a huge drop. And if you recall what we were just looking at on the Toronto side, the average price is about almost back up. But in York Region, look at that, Colin. The height, of course, was in 2016, and it's pretty flat now. It's dropped down a couple of 100,000, and now flat for the last year. So Toronto's up, but York Region's down. Give me some points on why that would be.
And it's funny because, like you said, we trade a lot in York Region, and that's what we're getting from a lot of our clients. You know, our market is down. We're starting to see Durham. They're picking up. Actually, they're breaking even as well. And over the last years, before the peak of the market in 2016, 2017, York region was increasing the fastest. We were increasing on average, all of York region on average about 20 points, 20% a year, where the average region or were trailing anywhere from 8 to 10 points a year. So we were growing much faster than the rest of Ontario. So with that, it's going to take us much longer to catch up. And there's that they're saying the higher you climb, the harder you.
Yeah. Fall.
Yes,
That's
So
my
there-
best falling.
that's you falling.
That's somebody falling.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. So, York is one of it, but let's look at a couple other.
Let's look at Durham. Let's see what is going on in that region there.
So Durham, just takes a moment for the chart to update. So this is live as it stands right now. So again, the number of sales are drastic down from a couple of years ago. That's kind of across the board. Average price is creeping back up though. It's probably just shy of where it was average from a
Absolutely.
couple of years ago. And new listings are way down. Something that we haven't really pointed out here though is the days on market. And I use the strategy. I know you use a strategy, and so do a lot of other agents. Is now we're starting to just relist properties instead of just changing the price. We'll relist
Cancel
it.
and relist it.
Cancel,
Absolutely.
relist it, and really what that does is set that listing back out there to kind of refresh the numbers and refresh everything. But what it does on the unfortunate side sometimes is reset the number of days on market that it sets. So if you're not doing your homework and checking out, it can really skew the numbers. So now I don't even look at that.
No.
In fact, Treb added a really neat feature where you can actually pull up all the previous listings on a property with a click of a button. It used to be pretty hard to do that. So we use these stats with our clients, and I know you do every day.
Yes.
Christina Clement, that was here last week. So if we're not educating our clients with this stuff, then how
Yes.
are we to set that expectation, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And for us, this is something that we look at every day, because with the way the market is changing and the way the market is shifting, you need to know where you're at any given moment.
Right. Yeah, you do. So hopefully that
That answers that question of where the market is up or down.
yeah, it's down.
Yeah. That's what we're
It's
seeing.
down. I mean, we laugh at it, but it truly is down, and for some that's a real obstacle.
Yeah.
Especially if you bought at the height of the market and you're looking to exit a property, that can be tough. But if you're not educating yourself, then you're really out to lunch. Right?
But at the same time, you say that we say and we know it's down. There are a lot of opportunities available in the market right now.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, because this
Right.
is it might sound doom and gloom, but if you're a buyer,
Oh my God.
like I know Andrew, who was sitting here last couple of weeks ago, said like this is a buying opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that question. Next question that keeps coming in is this: are buyers sitting on the fence?
Well, there are options now.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. There are lots of options out there, and it's who is willing to sell for less.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
For
we
sure.
might have 5 homes listed at 500,000, but home number 3 might be willing to take 440 or 420. So that's what we're seeing in this market right now.
Yeah.
And we see the buyers, they have a lot of power. So, are they sitting on the fence? Generally, yes. But now when we have a motivated buyer, then is when we need to, we can really pick up on a lot of opportunities out there because they're motivated, they're qualified, they're ready to shop now. Okay, what is the best options out there for their needs?
Yeah, and that's and Adam is agreeing. He's seeing it down to the 905 for sure, as we were just saying. It allows buyers also to be more creative.
Yes.
Okay, perhaps the comment is the power is in your hands, but use your creativity. We did an offer last week. We were in multiples by the time we got it together. However, imagine that we're in multiple offers. That's because this was a really unique property, and it's going to be tough for them to sell. So they either somebody had to come with a full cash offer of over $1 million or get creative. So you know what we did?
What did you do?
We asked for a vendor take back.
Brilliant.
They can't exit the property without cash in hand.
Yes,
So why not have them finance it,
absolutely.
right? So this is an opportunity where buyers can be creative, and as agents see more and more of this stuff, because as we represent buyers, what do we also represent? Sellers,
Of course.
right?
of
And we're
course.
going to get creative on the seller side for sure. Absolutely. So yeah, they're sitting on the fence, and it's just, and part of that is because of the mortgage stress test and the unknowing or the uncertainty of interest rates to the market to everything. But here's what happens. Life still happens. Jobs still change. Careers still move. You still move up and move down. Families get bigger. They get smaller.
Absolutely.
So even though we
Life events will still happen, right?
exactly.
So people still have to buy, people still have to sell.
Yeah, for sure.
It's our jobs to make that happen for them.
Yeah. So here's another question that we get coming in quite often is this one. How many deals does an average realtor do? So if you're watching right now, post in the comments. I'd actually like to see that. We do have the stats, and maybe we'll come back to that. I'll leave that up for a few minutes. How many realtors does an average realtor do? So
How
post
many
that.
deals does an average realtor do?
Yeah.
And it's funny because is there average? There are 53,000 agents on the Toronto Real Estate Board. What is average?
Yeah, so let's quantify those numbers. So in 2016, we had a record-breaking year of 113,000 sold properties.
Yes.
And there's how many agents on?
53,000.
53,000. The math all of a sudden just doesn't work,
That's right. So
right?
everyone knows an agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone knows an agent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, post in the comments if you want to take a guess at it. But here's what we've got. I've got the slide up here. Here we go. I just got to look for it. Here's this is information from Radatum, January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018, and these are the stats. So as Colin just mentioned, there's 53,000 licensed realtors, of which 0 deals. 20,000 of those agents did 0 deals.
That's
Okay.
So now 20,000 of those agents did 0 deals. Are we saying these agents are part-timers? They just got into the business to hold a license? Help me understand that.
Yeah, so let's qualify this a little bit. So yes, there's that. There's agents thinking, or perhaps even newer agents thinking, wow, I want to transact on $1 million property and make $25,000. That sounds pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, that's not even happening. So we got people commenting on here,
Yes.
and I lost my train of thought. The next piece is, though, and let's call it what it is. There are some agents that are on teams,
Yes.
and we're seeing more and more of that. So sometimes that particular agent doesn't get credited for the transaction, as opposed to, say, the team leader does.
Okay, good.
So I want to qualify that a little bit. I just don't want to pull the wool over people's eyes. However, this is how most agents will view their business.
Absolutely.
And just kind of going down, even if you did 1 to 6. So is there a difference between 1 deal and 6 deals?
What is the difference?
Well, about 600%, right? Right. That is a huge difference. And that's almost half of the agents did that. 47%. Almost half of the agents did 6 deals or less.
6 deals or less.
Right. And then you can kind of go through there, and then you or I are at the bottom of that. And on one hand, you're like, well, that's not very hard to get to the top or to the bottom of this list where you really want to be.
Yeah.
But you just look at the amount of competition. You look at the amount of deals that are declining every year, and how to keep that up. So when you first saw this, what were your thoughts?
Right away, I went to the fact of, okay, 20,000 agents did 0 deals. How are they feeding their family?
How are they feeding their family? Yeah.
So most likely, are they part-time agents that are, this is just so that I can sell to friends and family, and in 2018, I had no friends or family that were selling.
Mhm.
So that's one direction in which my mind went. And the second is, if there's zero money in the bank, it means there's no lead generation happening. Because the formula that I work with is lead generation gives you lead follow-ups. Lead follow-ups give you appointments. Appointment gives you contracts, and contracts give you, money in the bank. So there's no money in the bank. It simply means that you didn't have enough contracts to work with. Not enough contracts to work with, it means you didn't have enough appointments to go on. You didn't have enough appointments to go on. You didn't have enough lead follow-ups. You didn't have enough lead follow-ups. You didn't lead generate. So that's where my mind went.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I apologize. Not all the comments are coming through my particular feed here, but I'm just checking them on my phone. So I have a phone here, wherever that is. And Rick, who's out in Redondo Beach in California, is saying the same thing. Sales are slightly down in his area.
Yeah.
And prices are slightly down too. So usually that goes hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Right? Usually it goes hand in hand. So appreciate that, Rick, for chiming in. See, this podcast goes from coast to coast, from nation to nation.
Nationwide, yes.
There's a rap there, but I can't pull it out. I don't know. I'm a white guy in a black T-shirt.
You can rap, don't worry. Eminem.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, so I think we kind of beat that one. But here's the thing, though, is, and let's circle back to this and we'll wrap this piece of the segment up, is if you're work with whomever you feel most comfortable with, if you're a buyer or seller.
Of course.
Obviously. At the end of the day, though, I want to be asking them, okay, number of deals, does that reflect on the type of service I'm going to get? Sometimes it does. Sometimes you can align with agents that are a part of a bigger team as well, right? Mm-hmm. However, the real catch-22 here is if they're only doing a couple of deals a year, how quickly are they able to provide you with another quality of service or that same level of service that an agent that's doing much more deals and has that experience? Or does that change the way that they look at their own commission as well? So I don't want to get into a commission talk, but one day we'll have to. Because it's important, right? A commission, as Christina said, not a lot of people are willing to have that conversation.
I would prefer compensation talk.
Compensation, I like it.
Yes,
We do get paid for the value that we bring to the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. For sure. Okay, so next question here is this one here. Is Toronto or the GTA in a shifting market?
What are your thoughts on that?
Si, senor. We. Yes.
Yes, definitely in a shifting market. Andrew commented on something here.
Yeah, this is important. I got to put this on the feed. The answer is yes, Andrew. Yes, Andrew, who was a guest on our show last week, is starting to learn our routine.
Yes.
But yes, are we in a shifting market?
The numbers would say yes.
Yeah, and I think sellers' mentality hasn't caught up to that. What do you think?
Yes, because a lot of sellers are still caught up with, my neighbor sold for this how many years ago. I'm not selling until the market is back to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means when you buy, you're still buying at the height of the market, right?
For sure. I'll see you there, Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's a chart that I share with when we're doing our listing presentations, and I know you do something similar. When we start looking at the comparables, before we get to the comparables, we do the market stats. We set a baseline.
Yes.
And I hold up a sheet like this and picture a bar graph, and all of a sudden there's one bar that's way up here, and then everything else is kind of normal.
Yes.
And that's basically 2016. If we take 2016 out of the picture,
we're still on an incline.
we're still typically on a nice incline. In Durham here, Durham. In York region, it's plateaued a little bit.
Yeah.
However, it's nice to see. So it's just that visual helps our sellers out immensely.
Absolutely. What else? What other questions?
Yeah. Let's go through. So I think the next one is probably one of the most important questions that we get asked, or that is being asked, and quite frankly, I don't know if I know the answer, but it's important.
Oh. Will Kawhi Leonard stay on the Raptors?
Yeah, man. So if you think he's going to be staying, definitely share this post right here.
What are your thoughts on that?
So you know me, I love the Raptors. I love Kawhi. Always have loved Kawhi. I don't really get the way his mind works because I'm such the
Well, he's a fun guy.
he is a fun guy.
He's a
so that's
fun
where
guy.
he and I might be similar. That's right. Yeah. Because I'm the exact opposite. I feel of him. Because when I'm playing soccer or I'm doing something, like I want to celebrate that
Yeah.
openly, and he's so calm, cool, and collected.
But the reason he said that is because he's already experienced that in his mind.
Dang.
So
I missed
all
that.
the wins, he's already experienced it. The first celebration we saw from Kawhi was when he hit that goal buzzer,
Yeah, the corner three,
Yeah,
squatting down.
the
you know.
corner three, because he never saw that happening. And that is why the celebration was so big.
Yeah.
And obviously for winning it all is a reason to celebrate.
Yeah.
So
I think the media has done a good job of setting us up for yes and no. Surprisingly,
yeah.
media is not always good at that, and I guess in this realm we are part of that media. However, my heart says, "Oh, dude, just stay." Like I want to celebrate this.
Why
again.
would he stay?
Why would he stay? Is okay. So he had issues from San Antonio Health Department, like their training
team,
staff and
yes.
the team and the management and the leadership.
Yes.
He came here. He was embraced. He was given the freedom that he needed. So we're told. He's got confidence in that training facility. He's got confidence in the leadership. He's got confidence in the city. It was funny. I saw a picture the other day, and this has everything to do with real estate.
No, it doesn't.
The Los Angeles Clippers are putting up billboards. Come to L.A. Play for us.
Yeah.
And then somebody put up, yeah, that's cute. And then there's a selfie of Kawhi in front of like tens of thousands of people celebrating with the trophy.
You can't beat that.
You can't beat that. So I want him to stay. I hope he stays, and I think that would just be amazing. Sorry, I said this at our real estate investment meeting a few weeks ago when the Raptors were still in the playoffs.
Yeah.
When it was still happening. It's so good for the city.
It's good for the city. It does a lot for the city. It continues to, put us on the map. Obviously, it's going to help in our condo industry as well. So just bringing it back to real estate, basketball and us winning the NBA Finals does a lot for our economy as well.
Oh, tremendously.
Could you? It does so much. Second note, I think the MVP for all of this, it should go to Usai Majuri.
Oh yeah.
He took. Only recently, I really started studying and looking at every speech that he's made because it was such a brilliant move for him to bring Kawhi to
Gutsy.
Toronto. It's gutsy. First off, you fire your coach of the year. Then you get rid of your best player to bring a player that is injured. That is someone who is a visionary. And I've just really started delving deep into what he's been doing, him as a leader. So, Simon Jury, if you're listening out there, we would like to have you on the podcast.
Well, you assume if
Okay.
he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Right there. Okay, so moving
lot of
right along.
questions you
Yeah.
have.
Another question. This one's interesting. Should I lower the list price of? I typed that in right. Should I lower the list price or offer an incentive to sell faster? Let's just say or. What do you
I'll
think?
leave it. Offer an incentive.
Yeah.
Offer an incentive.
So this is for a listing that's been up for a while. You're trying to be creative here.
A listing that has been up for a while. Let's cancel, relist the listing.
Okay.
Let's bring it back fresh. Let's change the photos. Let's create a new look, a sunset theme, something of the sort. Maybe new photos at night, and offer an incentive, couple $1,000 to, if it's sold before X date.
Yeah. I think I would look at the different approach here. I think I would talk to our sellers and say, you know what? No, let's lower that price. And I only say that because most buyers are online looking at realtor.ca or
Yep.
House Sigma, whatever they're using, right? Who cares what they're using? They don't get to see what commissions or incentives are being offered,
No.
right? Because that's typically in the brokerage notes.
Yes.
but they will see a price.
Of course.
And they and I think I'll be honest, most agents don't give their buyers enough credit.
Yep.
They know the market almost as well, or they know the pricing as well as you do.
Of course.
Meaning they know that house was listed for $1 million for 4 months, and all of a sudden it went down to $979 because they've been watching it.
Yeah.
We may not, because we're only we're focused on thousands of homes sometimes.
Yes.
And they're focused on maybe 5.
Yep.
They can keep that 5 in their head. So to me, that's perhaps that's why I would drop the price. Now,
Yeah, but there's no and there's no right or wrong. So why don't we do both? Drop the price and offer an incentive.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Done.
good with that. So that answers that question. What
answers
next
that
you have
question.
for us?
Yeah, next. It's a good question, though, because this is where, I think listing agents and, more importantly, sellers need to start thinking creatively and outside of that
Well,
box. Right?
definitely we need to be more creative in the market, because we're in a market where it's taking much longer for properties to sell. How do we stand out from the crowd? In most cases, it might be price. What else can we do to stand out from that crowd, right? There are 5 other homes that are exactly just like ours, and within the same price point of $3,000 to $5,000. What are we doing as agents to separate ourselves from that pack, right? That is why our clients are hiring us to get the home sold.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's interesting. So what does that conversation look like? Are you having that conversation with your sellers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And are they offering suggestions?
It's also getting our clients' input.
Yeah.
Right. Here, based on my experience, we've done this, and this, and it's worked. Is there anything that we haven't mentioned that you would like to do,
Yeah.
or you've thought of?
Yeah.
Right. We totally admit that we don't know it all. Right. And it would be arrogant on our part to come in and assume we know it all.
Yeah.
Right. There's some
And
brilliant ideas.
that's an interesting comment, and one that kind of hits home. I've shared with you offline. I'll be vulnerable here for a moment. We've had clients say to us recently, "There's probably other things you can be doing, or perhaps it feels like you're learning your marketing piece on this, when in actual fact we are always
learning.
Like, it's an evolving marketing realm. Like, it just doesn't. You just don't put up a for sale sign and fold up your arms and go sit on the rocking chair anymore, right? Like, that just doesn't happen.
And don't forget, the market has changed so much, because I would say, when was the last time we've experienced a shift like this?
Yeah, 2007, 2008.
No, 2007,
2019.
2008, we weren't disaffected by
No,
it.
true enough.
Right?
Yeah.
That was more the U.S. We weren't affected by it. We're seeing a huge decline in prices.
Mm-hmm.
So, when last, maybe 89,
Yeah.
right?
And I'll tell you something. I wasn't licensed then.
No, neither was
No,
I.
I just finished high school. I was actually skiing out west. It
Yes.
was probably some of the coolest years of my life.
So there you go. So a lot of agents have not experienced a shift in market like this before. And the ones who have, maybe they've forgotten about it. So yes, we're going to try different things, but the goal ultimately is to get your home sold. And in cases we're going to have to try, we're going to have to utilize more options.
Yeah. And what's Gary Keller say in the shifting market? Do you remember? Did you know where I'm going with this?
Read the book.
Okay, so there's that. Yeah. So that's the easy answer.
Yeah.
In a shifting market, that's where you take market share, because on the way
Absolutely.
back up, you're just going to blow it out of the water.
Absolutely.
Right,
And in the
right,
shifting market as well, the work that we're doing, we have to do double the work to pretty much get the same result.
Yeah, yeah.
However, it comes back to when the market increases, we're going to increase market share.
Right. So Adam's got a good question here, and one that we get quite often. What's your opinion, guys? List in September or wait till spring 2020 for York Region?
What is the motivation?
Good question. A good question is always followed up with a good question.
What is the motivation, Adam?
Yeah. So let's just assume that he's got a choice to sell his big family home and downsize. Let's kind of go from that realm and go at it from that side of it.
Do you want me to answer?
Sure.
My response to that would be, I only know what's available today.
Yeah.
I cannot see into the future. Who knows? Next spring, the market can drop another 20 points or it can increase another 50 points. I don't know. However, I only know what's available today.
Yeah.
And based on your motivation and so on, we're going to look at both and say, do you want to take that risk and wait March of next year, or do you want to capitalize on today's market?
Right.
And if we're buying and selling in the same market, it becomes a wash anyway.
So Adam's saying correct, meaning I kind of narrowed down the scenario to what he was looking for. So thanks, Adam, for I needed that. No, it is. You know, we get to work with a lot of clients like that because that's kind of our age bracket. You know, we work with clients that are a little bit older and, of course, a little bit younger. The ones that are older are selling the big homes,
Yes.
and or they're becoming empty nesters, or they don't want their kids living with them anymore, so they
Yes.
get a smaller house.
Absolutely.
And it is tough. I mean, you can look at this scenario, for instance. Do I list in September or wait till the spring? Yeah, typically the spring markets are always a little bit more active. I can tell you this most recent spring market took ages to actually start.
Yeah.
And really was only about 4 weeks, and now
Not even.
Yeah.
Well, in Newmarket, we experience Newmarket Aurora, we experienced 2 weeks of it.
Yeah. You know what? I should probably retract that. You're absolutely right. It was really short-lived. And, you know, at the end of this week here in Toronto, here in Canada, like all the kids are done school.
Yeah.
Like we're into summer already.
Yeah.
Like June has flown by, and we did the majority of our sales in May and at that short little window. So everyone gets excited about the spring market, but because of our local weather and other scenarios or other things, or other factors, we didn't have the spring market we typically have.
Now, with that being said, where there was, due to the weather and so on, our spring started late, do you think the dip that we usually see in July, August, that dip might not be there this year?
I guess there's that potential.
Okay.
All the people that didn't sell in in May or in June
Yeah.
are still looking to sell in the summer months.
Mhm.
If you've got a home to bring to market, it would be my recommendation to hold off until perhaps the fall and let the number of sales dwindle down a little, or let the inventory dwindle down a little bit. But again, if your motivation is to move, and everyone's motivation is different, I think you have to have the appropriate conversations. If you're happy where you are and it's good for another year or 2 years, then wait. What do we do?
Mhm.
The one thing we do notice is time is a great resource for real estate.
Okay.
Always is, yeah. Good question, Adam. Good question. What other things do we have here? Let's talk about lead gen a little bit for the realtors that have been watching. What lead gen formulas are you doing to get more deals done?
I'll have you go with that first.
Yeah, I just do what Colin does. So what do you do? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Let's call it what it is. Last winter or November, December, the coach I was working with, Leanne, just asked me a simple question: what do you do differently and do more of it?
Mhm.
And one of those things was obviously this podcast and doing more videos and things like that. So that there's that line out there: you double down on your lead gen activities.
Yes.
But if you got to choose one that you're just going to absolutely love and do, and you got to do more of it. And this is one of those things.
For us, what we're doing, we're looking at three pillars of lead gen. First, we're on the phones. We do a lot of cold calling, so we do that. Secondly, we are working on our database, which will create repeat business, and that just becomes systematic. So every year we know we'll have X amount of deals out of our database. And third, it's open house.
Open house, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just responding to people.
That's all right.
And yes, thanks, Adam, for the question. Yeah, it is really just doing those, that, it's easy to say, go the extra mile, do the extra thing. But sometimes doing the extra mile isn't the right mile to take. Right, you got to choose an avenue that's going to, have an ROI on it.
Absolutely,
sure, right?
Absolutely. If you're, and especially in a shifting market,
Yeah.
Here's where you're dialing back on money spent on online leads and so on. just
Yeah.
double down.
Yeah, Gary Semenek has a good point. Systems commitment to lead gen and follow up. That's, we all have our systems, and if you don't get
Yeah.
into a system, and that simple system can be, you're good at it. Every morning you're on the phones.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a system.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Gary says the systems, it brings it back to the formula that I mentioned earlier. Lead gen equals lead follow-ups. Lead follow-ups equals appointments. Appointments equals contracts. Contracts equals money in the bank.
Money
right?
in the bank.
You don't have money in the bank, it comes back to
Money in the bank.
you don't have enough money in the bank, it comes back to are you doing enough lead gen, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think we have another question here. Oh, hang on. Let's get Pierre has a good point here. Discipline is rarely enjoyable, but almost always profitable. Yes, my man, preach it.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. First, obviously, I love it, Pierre. Here's a good question. Hang on, let me flip this one down and bring this one back up. How many investment streams should one have?
One as in an agent, one as in
Person. Maybe
a
that should
person?
read person.
Okay. Multiple. That's my one-word answer.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Yeah. I'm looking for the appropriate sound effect.
Don't.
Here we go.
You're the best.
Yes, we definitely need to have multiple streams of income because we've seen that all the successful individuals, whether the top, billionaires in the world, there's no one single stream of income. And we know the majority of those guys and gals, are a lot of their wealth comes from real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. And it's the spin-off things like being a realtor. Somebody had asked me that the other day, and of course we have the sales from doing buying and selling homes, but that's an active stream. I'm
yes.
a participant in that. I operate a team, so there's a stream of income just like
Yes.
you. We have profit share within Keller Williams, and other agencies have something similar. Then we have our investment properties,
Yes.
and we haven't even started talking about stocks or anything else
No,
yet, right?
and you can dig deep into that.
Yeah.
The goal is to have as many income streams as possible.
Yeah.
My goal is to have at least 25 income streams.
Love it. I'd like to see that. Make it happen.
Well, that is the goal.
Cool. 25 different income streams
Absolutely.
or sources?
Sources.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Because
yes.
you could have 5 investment properties providing income.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
one source?
That's
or?
one source.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
That's got to get creative, right? You
Yeah.
can only be creative by doing that. So you know what time it is, my friend?
What time is it?
It's this.
Oh.
Hang on. Here we go. So usually this is the rapid fire questions where we ask our guests, and seeing as we're doing a little different format today, we're going to ask each other some of these questions. So I chose all the good ones to ask. No, I'm kidding.
Go for it. Let me hear.
Okay. So we were laughing off camera. Who is your first celebrity crush?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay, without a doubt. I am serious. You need to listen to this. He asked me, remember that show, Murder, She Wrote, or whatever it was? I'm like, Angela Lansbury? Are you kidding me?
No, her name just popped in my head, and I don't know why.
As I said many, many times before, when people give their answers to these
Don't
rapid
read
fire,
much into it.
don't read much into it, or you're in trouble. All right, ask me one.
Talking or texting?
Talking.
Favorite season?
Summer.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Spring is mine.
Good for you.
Okay. Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
Absolutely no way. And first celebrity crush goes out to Adam Norborn, Heather Locklear. Yes, sir, my man.
Wow, okay.
I can do 3 things at once here.
Places you most want to travel to?
Australia,
Oh,
that whole realm, like the Pacific coast there for sure.
it's just like Canada.
Great, except they speak with a different accent.
Okay.
All right, and they
So
have,
do
they
we.
have koala bears, mate.
It's
Yeah.
Cheers,
You know
mate.
who we have to bring on the podcast one time, speaking of Australia? Our buddy
oh,
Brad.
Oh, Brad.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should reach out to
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Next
for
time
sure,
he's in the
for
country,
sure.
we'll
Okay.
reach out.
Would you rather have cake or pie?
Why not both?
Oh, good answer. Coffee or tea or none?
None. I
Yeah,
don't
I know.
drink
That's why I
anything.
added the none.
Yes.
The Godfather or Star Wars?
American Gangster.
Huh. It's not an answer here. Well, it's got to be The Godfather then.
Godfather.
Yeah. Here we are. Favorite junk food. Well, this will be interesting. You don't get into a lot of
I
junk
don't
food.
eat a lot of junk food.
That's not the answer that we're looking for.
Favorite junk food? I don't know. Burgers. Yeah. Is burger junk food?
No.
No?
No, I do not classify a burger as junk food.
Okay. I don't know that.
Okay. I think I'd have to go with either. I go between sweet and salty, so I default to chips, though.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's do a couple more each here.
Are women complicated?
Yes, and they're smartly complicated. I don't know how to answer that.
How many sleeps? How many hours?
How many sleeps do I need in a day? About 9. What?
Oh, I
Yeah.
like this. If you can ask God one question, what would it be?
That is a solid question. If you could ask God one question, what would it be? I don't know, actually.
Really?
I don't know. You know, I'm a godly man too.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Stale Sour Patch Kids or fresh circus peanuts?
Peanuts.
Cool. Very cool. Okay, last one. Did you climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
I want to skydive. So you jump from a plane.
Jump from a plane. There
Yep.
you have it, my friends.
Rapid
Wow.
fire.
And we did that right at the end of the music. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
I don't know how we did that.
All right.
We did.
Let's get into some of the lessons that we've learned from some of our
From
favorite
our
guests.
Okay, a little shout out here to Pierre though, because his favorite junk food is milk duds or dudes or whatever they are. Milk dudes here. Yeah. I don't know if he's talking about us or the junk food.
Oh, that's awesome.
Funny. So we had a number of guests on the show, and one of our first guests obviously is our good friend Ian Zabo. That's episode 2. It just got really hot in here, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a rapid fire.
Yeah, it's because we had the fire. Yeah, that's right, Pierre. Bring on the fire. That's right. Yeah, and Ian's podcast was legit like this too. Actually.
Yeah.
you see?
Ian it was just a great guest, and a lot of my takeaways from Ian was that here was someone who had so many learning disabilities, and constantly he just kept raising the bar. You
Yeah.
know, he was a chef, then he was an investor. Well, he continued to invest throughout all of this, but he was a chef, a contractor renovator, then he became an author, then a real estate agent, just constantly pushing the bar. And my lessons learned from Ian is just keep pushing.
Keep pushing. I think what I liked about him was, or what I do admire about him is, there's so many life circumstances where he could have just said, "No, my ceiling's here."
Yes.
He was put in all the right or wrong environments to say my ceiling's here, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What ceiling?" He
Yeah,
didn't even
Broke through
yeah,
everyone.
Exactly.
You're on
And-
a short bus where you can barely read and write. Forget that. I'm gonna go write a book.
Yeah.
Like who does that?
Who does
Ian
that?
Zabo.
Ian Zabo, episode 2, if you want to get more of Ian's story. Just an amazing story where, as we kind of alluded to, everyone kind of pushed him down and he didn't stand for it.
No.
Yeah,
No.
and he just did it. One of our other good friends that we had on the show was Quentin D'Souza on episode 3,
The Q man.
the Q Man. And Quentin is... He is an amazing
Quintessential.
There we go. It's like almost breaking out in song here. Quentin is, he's an educator at heart. He just wants to help people, and just the way he goes about his business is very systematic.
Yes.
But the one thing I got from Quentin is, I can go own 30 properties, 40 properties, 60 properties, or even a lot more in his case. He still has tons of time for his family, his kids, himself.
Yes. Yes.
And whereas a lot of people would get into that environment and just be so bogged down, but he's created systems around himself that shields that protects that.
Absolutely. And this is someone, to even learn more about Quentin, episode 3, like he's such an inspiring character. And this was a guy who was a teacher, making a 6-figure income, and he left that to pursue his dream,
Yeah.
right? So that he can spend more time with his family and create freedom for him and his family. So big shout out to Quinton. Episode 3 there, brilliant words from him.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one of my favorite podcasts that we've done has been one of the most popular, in fact, is Dion Begg, episode 4. And Dion's a mortgage broker with, oh my gosh, I can't even remember where he's from. He's the sponsor of the show. That's terrible. But connect with Dion on episode 4. And I love his
Butler
message.
Mortgage.
Thank you. Butler Mortgage. He loves teaching people. He has a great message for people about, do you want to pay off your home in the next 10 years?
Yes.
Most people say yes to that.
Yes.
Have more wealth during retirement.
Yes.
Yes. Have more money so you can send your kids through school.
Yes.
Yes. And with those 3 questions, he's really created a really unique way of looking at investment properties, but also bringing and attracting people and business to himself. Right? That's what it's done. But because he does that, he helps so many other people, whether it's, think about a mortgage broker that creates business for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you should be doing, creating business and opportunity for other people. I love that about Dion. Yeah, for sure. The other neat guest that we had on, and something you and I have both have quite a bit of experience in, is Rent-Own with Rachel Oliver.
Yes.
You've had some good
Yes.
experience.
It's funny because my experience with Rent-Own has only been positive. I know I'm one of the few that have had all positive experience with Rent-Own. But Rachel Oliver, she was just great because, again, she has those systems in place to find you the right tenant who's going to own the home in a couple of years. And the way she's systematically done it and created a business out of this, kudos to her.
Yeah, absolutely. And last night, I sent you a text because I was listening to this podcast again, Lorraine Jordan. Wow.
Yes.
That's all I need to say. An amazing business leader. Of course, we admire her for, who she is. And she's, we always want to surround ourselves with people that have been there and done that.
Yeah.
For us, we're building real estate businesses. She's been there and done that and continues to grow. She hasn't stopped.
Yes. And she's been in the business 30 years. She looks like 35, 36. No,
I'm sending this to her, so keep going.
Oh, okay. But just the way she keeps raising the bar every single time. And what I love about Lorraine is the people around her. She pushes them to think bigger. And those are the people you want in your world.
Yeah. The thing that I got out of Lorraine's podcast, listening to it again last night, was surrounding yourselves with the right people.
Yep.
She told this story where she was doing about 150 transactions a year, and it was for about 5 or 6 years in a row. She kept hitting that 150, 160, 150, 160, and then she surrounded herself with the right people, and now she just blasted right through that.
True.
Right?
Through the stratosphere, of course.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really, really cool. Very cool. And after Lorraine, one of the guests that we brought on here was Ryan Carr.
Ryan Carr in episode 7. He just a killer, man. Like I was blown away by Ryan, blown away by him because I wish I was taking big steps when I was
at that age.
At that age, because
Yeah.
Ryan is what, early 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah, late 20s.
Yes.
And if you don't know Ryan's story, maybe you heard of it. Tiny house. He built this tiny house down in Oshawa. That's just one of his projects, but he's a guy. He's an investor that will look at properties as opportunities, meaning how can I add value? How can I add income? How can I add suites? Can I tear down the single-family home and put up 2 townhouses with basement suites? That's how he looks at it.
Yep.
And there's not a moment throughout the year where he doesn't have an application in for a permit.
Absolutely.
Right? He's always doing something, which is really cool. He's got a number of projects on the go, and I really, really, really like that one. This one was cool.
Michelle Morgan.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of women still tell me about the Michelle Morgan podcast, which, what is it? Wealth women.
Yeah, build her wealth.
Build her wealth. And for her to just create a niche around that is, I think it's just brilliant. Kudos to her, who's creating a big business out of that. And I
Yeah.
remember her saying our goal is to create 8 millionaires.
That's right. You called her out on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That you could tell because she got really excited and
Yes,
nervous at
and
the same
nervous
time.
at the same time.
Yeah,
However,
for
it's
sure.
pushing the people in our
Yeah.
circle, right?
Yeah, what I admire about Michelle, and with, it doesn't matter if you're a realtor or not a realtor, here's somebody that saw an opportunity and saw a niche and tackled it head on.
Yes.
And now that niche is providing an ROI for us. So if you're, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person, look for that niche and dive into it. That's exactly what Michelle has done. We should probably just skip this one.
Marvin Alexander.
Well, here's what we know. He's probably not on Facebook watching, and if he is, it's Lori or his lovely wife, right?
Yes. It's funny because my biggest takeaway from Marvin is sometimes when you have a vision and nobody else believes in it, still go with it.
Still go, nice. Yeah.
Like, just go head on. Like, his vision was to create this company. And even no one else around him believed that it would be possible, right? Look at where we are today,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
shout out.
Yeah. And the more people he's helping, his vision just keeps,
It just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was a fun episode to actually do.
Yeah.
And this one's actually getting a lot of traction. I was looking at the stats the other night, and our good friend Todor Yordanov, who we've known for many, 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 many years. And again, here's somebody that saw a niche and jumped at it. And Todor's main business is pre-construction condos, and he's just killing it there, absolutely killing it there. So if you want to learn about buying pre-construction, episode 10 is definitely the one. He talks about a few projects, but really why people are doing it. He talks about it's less of a flip type opportunity now.
Yes.
Long-term investors are now buying pre-construction.
Of course.
And I thought that was really interesting because we've always just assumed as condo flippers, just a bunch of investors buying a bunch of condos, and that stigma still is there. However, it's really changed. The mindset has changed from, we can buy this today, we'll flip it in 2 or 3 years when it comes to when it's ready, and that opportunity isn't there because the spread has become smaller and smaller and smaller. So now you got to keep it long term.
Yep.
Right, and we're seeing a lot of that in pre-construction. So that was pretty good. And our most recent podcast that we did, the guest that we had on was Christina Clement, Andrew Bolton, episode 11.
These are two big hitters in the industry. And I was listening to this podcast recently, and there was such a wealth of knowledge that was shared in this one. And these are both guys who do things completely different.
Yeah.
Right. And it shows you that no matter who you are in this industry, you follow your path, you can be extremely successful at it.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? Having them here, because that was the first time we actually had two guests on at the same time, and this just kind of popped into my head now. The format that we did today with some of the questions, I'd love to do that again with other agents. Something kind of like that round table.
Yes.
And just us. It's not a debate, but it's just different ideas on the table.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, because that's how you and I grow. That's how a lot of people grow, just by having those conversations and understanding other people's mindset. Because if I'm tunnel visioned, I will never understand another one's opinion, and that could change my life.
Absolutely.
Or that could change the course of my realtor business or my investment business. And I think we need to be listening to others more.
And you find anyone with a growth mindset will surround themselves with people, and they'll mastermind, and they'll share ideas, and they'll take a few and implement. It's the ones who think we know it all and we don't need to grow. And I think once you get into that rut is when I truly believe when you stop growing, you start dying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at it.
So we did it.
Look at the time.
We did it, man. We did it.
Is there anything else you want to say before we start wrapping this up?
Yeah, so no.
Okay.
I love throwing you curveballs. He just gives me that look, that one eyebrow look.
Well, all right, guys. It was a blast. I can't believe the time went so fast. You were tuned into the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast with your favorite hosts, Sir Colin
right.
Campbell and Gary A. McGowan.
There we
Signing
go.
out.
As we close off, always get in touch with us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, all the
Spotify's and
everything. Yeah, and we're kind of wrapping it up for the season, but we do have a few little things we're working on for the summer and lining up the guests for the fall. We're going away, but we're not going away. So
Absolutely.
keep looking out for us, and there'll be a lot of cool things happening. So everyone have an amazing summer. Don't forget to still reach out to us with your questions. And hottest day of the year? Love it. Okay, bye for now.
Take care, guys. Bye.
This is Dion Begg from Butler Mortgage. For the past 15 years, I've helped families answer the big three financial questions. How do I pay off my home faster, pay for my kids' education, and build wealth for retirement? We answer these questions through helping plan and fund significant investment property portfolios. If you're a first-time buyer or buying your first or 10th investment property, please reach out for a free consultation so we can ensure you build the best portfolio possible. Search for mortgagesbydion.com or call me at 800-518-1221.